What's up, guys? Falcon Planet here. This video is, me and Sports Live in the ATL. We just had a Skype call, so it's just listen in, and we just talked about the Falcons and basically getting to know him. So if you haven't checked him out already, he makes great videos. So be sure to go check him out. I'll put the link to his channel in the description. And yeah, enjoy, guys.
The talent that we got, when you play conservative and stuff like we did under Mike Malarkey, it takes away things. Just don't go out of your realm, but utilize the talent that you got and confidence, really, and I believe we'll go all the way and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, one thing I was watching in your last video is, if we go up to Detroit and, clinch home field advantage and, go into that Tampa Bay game and try and, rest some players, I'm not really wanting that to happen because, you're right, that's a lot of time off getting ready for that playoff game, and that might hurt us going forward. So I would really like to see us, have something to play for and to play our starters at least till halftime, so that they're not completely rusty when we get into that first playoff game.
Now, you talking about halftime in the Detroit game?
Halftime in the Tampa Bay game.
Tampa Bay game. My thinking is, we're seeing the Falcons' losses in the playoffs and in history, and even in the 90s when we win, and early 2000s when we win. To me, I think, because I've been in situations where we've had time off, and then we've had short weeks where we've had like the wild cards or whatever. I really think it's just about being, like people say, hot at the right time. It's about going in and momentum. Now, I understand the pride factor of players, but I personally, honestly, I don't ever want to lose, and I don't want to lose this Saturday. But part of me hopes that Atlanta beats Detroit, which I believe we should. If you want to talk about that game, we can talk about that. But I believe we should beat Detroit, and if we win, then we clinch the first round bye and home field advantage. But a small piece of me would like the fact of not clinch it, only the fact that I want the players to be playing for something on the week 17. Just to keep your momentum going, because if you are done with it after Detroit, then you figure the starters once sit out Tampa Bay, and you're going to have that bye week off in the first round of the playoffs, then that whole week practice up until the game. So basically you're looking at 3 weeks, and I don't want rust, to play a part. I want to be coming in full strength, and honestly believe that I'm going to play the players, of course the whole game Saturday, maybe even half Saturday, see what happens, because I believe our backups should be able to beat Detroit this year. Let's just fall where they may, and then even if we do clinch it, when we play Tampa Bay, play the start of the half, don't do anything stupid, don't create plays that are put them in situations where they can get injured.
Yeah.
Just play conservative or whatever, and just to get, the kinks out, but don't overextend it, because injury can happen at any moment. We get a key in, we're done. Even though our backups are good, we need a full squad going into the playoffs.
Yeah, moving on to the Detroit game this Saturday. We went up. We beat the good Detroit team last year, and Detroit is just not the team they had this year. They're not nearly as good. Really, all they've got going right now is Calvin Johnson. I think if we shut him down, we should go up there and we should at least win by 2 touchdowns. Is my prediction. I don't think we're going to blow them out in any means, but what is your opinion, and how do you think the game's going to go Saturday?
Well, being from a biased standpoint, I believe Atlanta's going to win, and I've always been one. If I'm 4 years on here, I'm a realist, and I'll let you know if I believe the team can beat us. Like against the Giants, I was pleasantly surprised at the way they dominated, because I actually expected it to be 50 shots.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't see that coming, but as far as Detroit, by week basis, and they were expected to do a lot this year coming off their playoff year. Excuse me, and they obviously have fallen way short of for that goal. Long close games, but they do have a formidable offense. Just like New Orleans is playing in Dallas. When you have a competitive nature, because I know Matthew from his time here, Georgia, Calvin Johnson, Georgia Tech, all they have pretty much is pride and self-records to break, and they're not. They're going to be disappointed, and the next best thing for them would be potentially knock off a Super Bowl champion team or a team like the Falcons to make a statement for themselves. I mean, I don't see a shut Detroit out. I see the Lions' offense coming to play. I mean, Detroit has had a problem scoring points.
Yeah.
It's their defense. And I'm not a big Dominican Sue fan, just so for the record. He's a two-shot artist, and I don't like his style of play. But they got some guys on offense. You know, they got Shore, who some of my friends have had on their fantasy team, who's good at short guarded situations. They got Stafford, who could throw the ball all over the place. They got Kyle Johnson. And then they have a tight end. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But they got players who can put the points on the board. But the question is, what will their defense do? The defense gives up a lot of points. We score a lot of points. And I expect Atlanta to go in there and win. I would say 14 points. I would say something like 30 to 15.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me to be closer. Wouldn't be surprised either way. It would kind of surprise me if we lost. You know, but Atlanta still has the top seed to play. When I expect the same fire that we did against the Giants. But, you know, it was a tough game last year in Detroit, and I don't really expect it to be any different. But Atlanta should go to win, and that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a high-powered offense. They got, Nate Burleson, good slot receiver. They got Brandon Pettigrew. I think that's the tight end you're talking about.
I've forgotten that tight end. I had him on my fantasy team at one point. I dropped him after 2 weeks, though.
Their offense will have no problem scoring a lot of points.
Look, they have an ageless kicker, Hanson, who's been kicking for them since '89.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't know how much of an extra piece that would be, but he's still pretty automatic at his age. But, the key basically against Detroit is outscoring the team, and I believe we can. Yeah,
I mean, the only thing that, you just hope their defense doesn't show up, because their defense does give up a ton of points. But, we should have no problem going up there and beating them.
Not at all. Not at all.
What is your opinion right now on just like the new power rankings? We're not even in the top 5, which we should be. Coming off a big win, they have Seattle ranked 5th according to Adam Schefter. It's just give me a little bit an opinion on that of how basically stupid that is.
Well, I've talked a lot about that in my previous video that I made. So make sure you and your fans check it out. Not to ruin too much of that, but I'll be quite honest. People confuse me for somebody who doesn't understand the whole picture. I've always said, even in the last couple of years, that success means Super Bowl championships. Anything less would be disappointing. And I understand we need to win the playoffs, but when you start making excuses and using the playoffs as an ending to regular season means absolutely nothing, that bothers me because the playoffs are not here yet. The power rankings, I'll be honest, I've never been one to really want to be top power rankings. All my teams, Georgia, Falcons, throughout the past have had high rankings. And then I've had years where we haven't been ranked high. That's for the media and for fans to enjoy. Hey, my team's number 1 this time, but it's how you finish. But still, with that said, you want to be respected for what you do. Nobody, criticize. The Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in their time. Yeah. They were still considered one of the best teams. I don't remember the Bills being knocked so much those 4 years they never won a Super Bowl. Regular season and playoffs are totally different. You need to get there. How many teams in the regular season now would love to be in the Falcons situation? Power rankings are based on opinion, history. I see that, but don't discredit the regular season. If you look at the Falcons schedule, the first thing planned that we had to deal with going into the offseason was, can we beat Kansas City in Kansas City? We killed them. Can we beat Philly in Philly? We haven't beaten them since '88. We demolished them in Philadelphia. Can we get over the hump and beat the Aints? We split New Orleans, but technically playing it, we could have won both. Not should have. Sure, we could have lost to Carolina. We could have lost to Oakland. Could have lost to Arizona, but we didn't. Found a way to win. And then people were saying, strength of schedule. I understand how teams start off, but I know the schedule that we have, what teams are going to wind up being good. When you look at it now, the Broncos, probably the hottest team in the AFC, if not NFL, only 9 straight. They're 11-3. We beat them. Might have been week 2, but we still beat them. They beat a New Orleans team bad that still has Drew Brees, that we split again, and New Orleans is still capable of beating any team on any given Sunday. We beat the New York Giants, the Super Bowl champions, who 95% of the country said was going to come down here in the regular season game and beat us. But they didn't. They looked at the regular season stat when they were predicting games. They said the Giants were better. The Super Bowl champions are going to beat us. We beat them, killed them, come out. They're 8-6. The Giants blew out a San Francisco team who was ahead of us in the ranking, I believe, in San Fran. And then the Giants beat up the Packers.
Yep.
Okay, and those two teams are way over 500. We beat a Dallas team that is over 500. That beat the Giants in week 1. Okay, fairly lost to the Ravens. We beat a Redskins team who people are having so much hype over because of Robert Griffin III. And even when we played in week 4, we went to Washington and we beat them. Knocked them out. The Redskins are over 500. They go to New Orleans and win. They beat the New York Giants. They beat the Eagles. So it's like we can't win for losing. And from that aspect, it really annoys me. But when it comes down to it, we need to win the Super Bowl. But give us credit for what credit is due in the regular season. We even beat Arizona. They started off 4-0. Sure, they're slumping now, but they did not go into New England and beat the Patriots. So, and Oakland, they beat Pittsburgh. They're 7-7. So think about all the teams that we beat. And they beat teams over 500. And it just mind boggles me. It's just that Atlanta just has to win the Super Bowl to get the respect we deserve. But I still don't think you should insult and compare the regular season as justification for what may happen for the postseason because it hasn't happened yet. Give us credit to what we're doing now. We're not getting it, and we just got to win the Super Bowl to get it. But even then, we'll probably hear excuses. So.
Yeah, I guess we'll just wrap this up here in a couple minutes. If you got any questions you want to ask me, feel free.
Well, I would say what made you decide to do videos on here? Getting William Moore to pop on, I believe, was an excellent touch for you. And you and your friend have been Falcon fans since y'all were kids. I'm assuming. What is your favorite player on the team? What are your realistic expectations for now and down the road? And where do you hope to be in 5 years as far as sports? Do you want to take this to another level and be in the sports business? So, yeah.
Yeah, well, me and my friend Seth, we got the idea at the beginning of the year. We were planning on making videos, start off the year, but, one thing led to another, couldn't end up doing it. Couldn't get a camera, really just couldn't get it all set up. It wouldn't work out. But finally we got everything situated and ready to go, and built our fan base up a little bit on Twitter, and got things going in the middle of the season. I don't care if we had to been with 4 or 5 losses. It's not like we jumped in on the bandwagon 8-0. Me and him, we've been fans of the Falcons. We're both 18. We've been probably since about 8 or 9 years old. We've been in it for a while. All the Michael Vick days, I remember all that. Then the horrible year with Joey Harrington. I remember that. That was rough. That was a rough year. But my favorite player right now probably is Roddy White. He's banged up a little bit, so hopefully he can finish the year strong and have a. Yeah, Julio. I love Julio. I mean, I like that trade up to get him. I still think that he needs another couple years to really get going. And be a superstar in the league. But that trade up's looking real good right now.
Championship, because Atlanta could have had many in the past, but now we get to get one before we can worry about another one. But I did want to say, everybody, make sure you check out Falcon Planet. You make some good videos here. What's your friend's name? Seth?
Yeah, Seth.
Check out Seth. Check out his past archive. Get some good videos. Got some interesting. His previous video, he's got a surprise guest, William Moore, Willie Moe, on his video. And these guys, support them, guys, and hopefully we'll ride this out to the Super Bowl championship. And remember, SportsLiveInTheAtl says so. And I'm done.